Okay then, guess it's my turn.
Welcome back, fam, to another Dragon Ball Legends episode, and today we have Ultra Kidd BUU, and it's not a showcase, unfortunately, because he's not out yet, but we do have his abilities and his conditions in terms of what he can do. So we're going to go through his skit to see if he's worth summoning for, and we're also going to look at a few teams that we can actually or may actually use him on. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump straight into that. Alright guys, so this is the website where you can find the information. I will have this link in the description as well if you guys want to look at it yourself. So yeah, you can also follow me on Twitter because I have this exact same information there, and most of the Dragon Ball Legends accounts are on Twitter as well. So now the main thing about him is we actually want him to have a good elemental color. We also need him to have the basics, you know, card speed, cover nullification. He needs to have endurance, he needs to counter endurance, you know, all those sort of things. So if he has that in his skit, he might actually be a good top 3 unit. And yeah, let's read through this to see. So it does say this content is still under development and is a subject to change, basically, which obviously is the normal thing. And then this is what we have in yellow. This BUU's main strength can be summarized in one word: recovery. And that actually makes sense, because if you watch the anime, Kidd BUU was practically healing every single time Goku attacked him or if Vegeta attacked him. And it says that even after taking damage, BUU will be able to stubbornly recover any lost health. I feel like he'll be able to do that through his unique gauge. That's most likely what's going to happen. He is offensive as well, as like he has blast armor, which is normal. Art cards draw speed as well. That's good. Special cover change, so you can nullify cover change as well. And you can also nullify endurance. Now all of that is normal for an Ultra to have, so I'm not really too hyped too much. He also has a powerful time type unique gauge. Now what exactly is a time type unique gauge? I guess we'll find out in a bit. So his elemental color is yellow, and he has the character tag regen and powerful opponent. So those two are the main character tags. Most likely everyone will be using him on powerful opponent, because powerful opponent has some really good units like Ultra Hit, for example, or Ultra Rose is also powerful opponent. You could also use Broly as well. So yeah, the regen tag doesn't really have a lot besides Blue Zamasu, but I mean, you could use him, but I feel like the powerful opponent tag makes more sense. Obviously episode Majin Buu Saga. Now let's go to his main ability. In addition to restoring own health, this powerful main ability inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrades. So his main ability will basically make everyone get attribute downgrades. So instead of having buffs, everyone will have a downgrade essentially. They draw the ultimate card, which is Universal Destruction, restores his health by 25% and gets Ki. So his main ability gives him Ki and restores his health. He inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrades, 40% health restoration for 20 counts. And then as the battle goes on, he inflicts more attribute downgrades to the enemy. And he also inflicts all enemies with 1 card draw speed level, so they will lose 1 card draw speed. So for example, if you're using UGB and this Ultra Kidd BUU activates his main ability, you will basically lose your card draw speed, so you won't be able to draw cards as fast. And he's also going to inflict you with attribute downgrade, so if you had any buffs, it will be taken away. And that's on one main ability, which you can only do once off, but it's still extremely powerful. The Z ability I'm not really going to look at a lot, but we obviously know it's for regen as well as powerful opponent. He gives them 30% to strike attack defense, and obviously another 3% to special move damage, but that we don't really care as much about. Now let's go to the Ultra ability, which is probably something that's normally the same. 30% to inflicted damage, 30% to Ki recovery. So if he's in the leader slot of your team, he's getting an extra 30% boost and extra 30% to Ki. In other words, Kidd BUU will constantly have a lot of Ki available to him, and he will constantly have a lot of health as well, and he will be able to do damage. Now let's go to Strike Arts. His Strike Arts says pierce through enemy damage reduction effects on hit. That is insane. It's actually crazy, because he gets minus 10% to enemy sustained damage cut for 10 counts, and that's just on his strike. So every time he uses a strike, he minuses 10% to enemy sustained damage cut, which means the enemy won't be able to do as much cut penetration than they normally do, So for example, if Rosé cuts him with the sword, or energy sword or something like that, they'll do less damage, or if UGB attacks or beast attacks. So yeah, that's actually insane. And on blast, he's doing the exact same thing. So if you use 4 blast cards, 4 strike cards, you're basically getting almost 80%, well, basically 80% to enemy sustained damage card. And that's for 10 seconds. That's quite insane. It's actually really good. Then we get to the special move. If the unique gauge is full, so his unique gauge, which is called the time restore gauge or something like that, he restores his ki and his vanishing gauge, and he also inflicts no switching. So he practically locks you in, gets all his ki back, and gets his vanishing gauge back if he uses his blue card when his unique gauge is full. So that is insane. So think about it. Every time his unique gauge is full, he uses a blue card, you can't switch out, and he's going to give you a lot of damage. And even if he misses, he'll get his vanishing gauge back, so he'll be able to dodge you twice. That's insane. Then obviously he deals massive explode damage. That is crazy. And applies the following to himself, restores his ki, and like I said, gets his vanishing gauge back. He can do this twice. So he can practically get his gauge back twice just by using his blue card. That's crazy. Destroys all enemies' cards on hit. So when his blue card hits the enemy, he destroys all your cards. And obviously inflicts all enemies with no switching for 3 counts as well upon activation if this character's unique gauge is full. But destroying enemies' cards, finish getting your ki back, getting your gauge back if your gauge is full, is actually an extremely broken unique ability. Now let's move on to his green card, or what they call his special card. Now his green card states, nullifies the enemy's special cover changes and even converts your blast arts into strike arts. Whoa. So that is definitely a counter for Ultra Gogeta Blue, because Ultra Gogeta Blue basically takes advantage of blast art cards. So if he's changing his blast arts into strike arts, then he can still attack Ultra Gogeta Blue with his advantage of element, because his gauge won't restore. Go on the offensive with strikes after using a special arts. For example, you can use your blue card, your special move. You can use this one here, your green card, your special move, and you'll basically be able to continue a combo, is what they're saying. And if you scroll down here, it does state that draw a special move arts card next on hit if this character's unique gauge is full. So once again, if the unique gauge is full and you use this green card, you can continue your attack with a strike arts, a blast art, a special move, or even an ultimate art. And that is cool. You also get ski again, 20% to strike damage for 15 counts this time. And like I said, blast arts become strike arts. It's crazy. This is actually a good ability, and you can imagine how many green cards he's going to have, so that he'll be able to use at any point. Now let's jump into the ultimate. This powerful ultimate art nullifies the enemy's endurance, so the enemy can't escape. If they have endurance, they'll basically die, while also damaging all enemies. So he does an AoE ultimate essentially, and sealing their main abilities. So you'll notice that it does damage to standby units as well, but it's not going to be as heavy damage as a Transcendent Kamehameha, because here it just says damaging all enemies. So it's most likely something very similar to what Tapion can do when he dies. And he also seals main abilities. So his ultimate will take away your endurance if it kills, and he'll do damage to everyone else on the team, plus he'll seal their main abilities when they come in. So they won't be able to heal, essentially. That is broken. That is so broken. But he can obviously only do it once. He does Supreme Explode damage, 20% to his ultimate damage for 3 counts, nullifies enemies, restores endurance, like we said. The following effects also occurs. A portion of the damage inflicted will be distributed and seals main ability. Okay, cool. Now let's go into the unique abilities that he has. So if you fill the unique gauge, you get 2 massive levels of art card draw speed. So art card draw speed goes up by 2 levels every time his unique gauge is filled, basically. And I feel like his unique gauge can be filled constantly over and over, so you'll constantly get card draw speed. And it is a permanent card draw speed when the battle starts. BUU also has high modifiers to damage inflicted, giving it both strong recovery and high firepower. So he can recover through his unique abilities. Every time his gauge is filled, he heals basically, and he also is able to do more damage. So he starts the battle with 110% damage, which cannot be cancelled. That's a lot of damage. Reduces damage received by 60%, can also not be cancelled. So which means what's his name, Ultra Goku Black, even if he uses his ability to take away buffs, he cannot take away these buffs because these buffs are part of his ability when he starts the battle. Increases card draw speed by 1 level, so he gets basically a permanent card draw speed of 1 level, and once his gauge is full he gets another 2 levels. So he has level 3 card draw speed, which is crazy. Very similar to Beast Gohan's card draw speed as well. Applies attribute upgrade minus 20% to enemy sustained damage cut, so he's able to take more damage. Restores own health by 30% only once when it reaches 0, so he has endurance. We haven't had an Ultra with endurance in a very long time because Rosé does not have endurance, Hit does not have endurance, UGB does not have endurance. I feel like he's the first Ultra of this year that can basically restore his health like a Majub, 30% of his health once it reaches 0. So in other words, you won't be able to take him out unless you have a unit that nullifies endurance, which we possibly do have, but if you don't use that unit, and he can practically tank a rush and survive, essentially. He gets health back again, as we thought, nullifies attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions for 60 seconds. So he can go neutral, and basically characters like Rosé won't be able to hurt him at all for 60 counts because he can nullify attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. Gradually charges his own unique gauge over time, which means it's not going to charge him very fast. It's going to be a slow unique gauge, seeing that it can do all of this. But even if he's on standby, his gauge will fill up. Applies the following effects when the gauge is full: 30% to damage inflicted, he gets more damage. That puts him on 140% and makes him reduce more damage received. So since he is able to tank this well by not receiving so much damage, something tells me that his statistics for damage output is going to be quite low, because they gave him a lot of firepower and they also gave him a lot of abilities that basically assists him with not taking a lot of damage. But if that's the case, then he must have low defenses. -5 to arts cost, so his cards is cheaper, so you don't have to pay the full price, which is nice. As usual, if the unique gauge is full after enemy attack is over, it resets to 0, and the following effects occur. If the unique gauge is full after enemy attack, so once someone's combo is done and the unique gauge is full, the following effects occur. Restores own health by 20%, gets health back again, 10% of damage inflicted increases, so you get 150% damage, shortens ally substitution by 2, and also destroys 2 enemy cards. So you can switch him out if he's about to die, because he shortens ally counts. He also destroys cards, can stop combos, and gets his health back. That's just unique ability 1. Let's go to unique ability 2. Has a special cover change against strike arts. So you can cover change against strikes, that's good. Recovers health and key every time an arts card is drawn. Recovers health and key every time an arts card is drawn. So every time he gets a card in his hand, he gets health and key. Damn. Plus, when the enemy activates Rising Rush, recover your vanishing gauge by 100%, and when 2 allies are defeated, nullify enemy endurance and activate other powerful effects. So what you're telling me is when an enemy rushes him, he can just dodge, essentially. And if the enemy does get him with the rush, his endurance activates and he'll be able to get out of it as well. That is insane. He's actually quite broken. He's already a top 2 unit. He's already beating Ultra Hit just by this ability alone. Plus, knocks back enemy to long range with his cover change. And you can also combo that into a special move as usual. Restores more health when he throws cards, like we said. Restores vanishing gauge when someone rushes. Applies the following effects. Gets his unique gauge back by 100% when the other 2 allies are defeated. So if he's a last man standing member, he gets his gauge filled, which will allow him to get health again. Plus, he will also be able to get a blue card and continue his attack and have another chance at a gauge. So yeah, guys, that is Kidd BUU in a nutshell. What do you guys think about him so far? I'm actually quite impressed of what I read, but I feel like we need to actually see a showcase on Sunday to see if he's worth it or not, because when you put this to actual games, sometimes what you read is not always what is desired or what happens in an actual PvP match. Now the question that you might be asking yourself, do you actually summon? Well, if you have Ultra Hit, Ultra Gogeta Blue, Ultra Rosé, then yes, you might want to summon, because powerful opponent would be the tag that you could use with Hit, Rose, and this guy, UPK Ultra Kidd BUU. So you could make a team with that to most likely be one of the best teams in the game. Powerful Opponent being one of the best tags in the game officially, since now he will be coming out as well to join that tag. However, if you don't have Hit or if you don't have Rose, then there's no point summoning for him, because you would have to then main a regeneration team. And the only good unit in regeneration at the moment is Zamasu, actually. Besides him, the regen tag is not really that good. And he also is yellow, so blue doesn't have an advantage over yellow, but only red does. So in that case, save your chrono crystals for the anniversary. The anniversary is 1 month away, and with that being said, you are noticing that the next tag that's going to get buffed is definitely GT and Fusions, because those two have not had a buff in a while. And since Fusions are always kept for the anniversary, Ultra Vegito Blue is definitely coming out, which most likely will counter this guy within a month or two. Not saying that he won't be broken, he most definitely will be broken seeing his kit, but if you don't main the team, summoning for him will definitely waste your chrono crystals, because if you put him on the wrong team, you won't be able to actually use his abilities to the full strength of what they're supposed to be used as. So yeah guys, that is my 2 cents. I would suggest not summoning unless you are a powerful opponent main. So comment down below if you are going to summon, and if so, good luck with that. He is releasing this Sunday for some reason, and most likely the unique equipment is also coming out for Super Saiyan 3 Goku this Sunday as well. Like always, thank you so much for watching. If there is any further information that will come out, I'll post it in the community tab of our channel. I'll see you guys on that side.